Hello, all you wonderful beings out there, and welcome back to the stream. I am Razim, and this is DevTales, where we're going to be working on our SCAR system. Yeah. Taldarius, it seems like you have a bit of a plan. Where do you want to start?
Alright. So, first off, there were a couple different questions that I wanted to ask in relation to the weapon system and our current, intentions for it. So, I know that part of our intentions were to try and make it so that way they were comparable to moves. However, we also wanted people to be able to use their XP to upgrade themselves with a particular weapon. So how are we planning on, at the very least, coinciding those two things?
So, on that front, I was thinking that just like moves, they can use their XP to increase their accuracy. I am also thinking that we can, of course, there's specialties that they can get.
Yeah, specialties outside of that.
Yeah.
I'm talking about just for the mechanic itself.
But yeah, I'm thinking there will be things similar to the moves that you can purchase with XP to increase their effectiveness. Such as, accuracy. I'm still debating about damage, but that is a possible one as well.
I think we might want to limit it based on tier. Like, if it's a tier 1 weapon, like, it reaches its quote-unquote, upgrade cap on damage after a bit.
Yeah, that's a good idea for that.
Yeah, that was one of my ideas for that. Just wanted to make sure. Which is also why I was talking about tiers for weapons and all that, obviously.
Would it be worth creating a chart or a system of tier of item equals how much space it can hold and go off the capacity thing?
I was thinking of that as well.
Yeah. But I was thinking that part of the capacity and the way that it's portrayed is just the whole, what's the word for it? Based on tier as well. Tier, weapon type, all that stuff.
Okay.
Because I think that that'll be a very impactful without completely ruining all the balance ideas we had.
It'll be easy to understand as well if we make it simple.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's what I was thinking, that we have different categories. I don't want to call them one-handed or two-handed particularly, because, the whole hands system. However, we could call them, could call, two-handed weapons, heavy weapons, and then one-handed light weapons, or something of that nature. Because I don't see... Because I don't want to put in one-handed, two-handed when we already have the whole thing about, you don't need hands to use anything, technically. So again, Milcery with Buster Sword moment.
So small weapons, light weapons, heavy weapons?
Yeah, that's more what I was thinking. At least in terms of, for a lot of stuff, I feel like that'll work out pretty well.
Yeah, I like that idea a lot.
Are you going to separate ranged weapons out of that list?
I think that for ranged weapons, they will probably have, their own thing just for, list of effects that they can do. However, they'll also probably, go along with, a same thing of probably, thrown range, thrown short, long, or whatever.
Okay.
Just as, part of the idea. That was obviously, up for discussion on it, but I think that we could probably do that in the same sort of manner. You know what I mean?
No, I understand.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if you were going to go with the same route and go small arms, light arms, heavy arms.
Maybe, but I was also trying to think about, like, you know, because this also works with modern and sci-fi, where like thrown weapons could be things like, you know, that would be like something that grenades would go into, for example.
Okay.
Short could be things like things that are meant to be used on more like short ranges, like shotguns, SMGs, stuff like that. Long range could be more like rifle type things. Like I'm talking obviously for like modern and futuristic stuff.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, obviously for like, you know, more fantasy settings, then you could just have things like a thrown weapon, like a javelin, or something, or like a throwing axe or whatever. Mix that with stuff like a short bow and a long bow, just as like quick little examples.
Okay.
And that's just why I thought of those names, just so that way it would still work. But yeah. Yeah.
Time frame? No, I do not plan to have a Scar campaign set in Against the Storm. I'm not sure why I would.
All right. But how are we feeling about that?
I'm liking it.
I know that Sky, you're the one that was making the sci-fi thing, right? Was Sky the one that was making the sci-fi one?
Yes. Spooky. How will you differentiate between a weapon and an object used as part of a skill, like the Pokemon move Bone Boomerang or Leaf Blade or Bullet Seed? Those are just moves.
Yep.
There's no need to differentiate them. They just fall under moves.
I'll be right back really quick. I actually got to handle this quick here.
Okay.
All right. So, at least we're liking the base idea of it. Obviously, we're probably going to go with tiers like 1 through 4. And I was thinking that we could make like expected ranges for like each of the like different things.
I
Like an
agree.
expected range for like, you know, a light melee weapon would be lower than a heavy melee weapon.
Sorry, repeat that?
I said so. Like for example, the expected damage range of where a like a light melee weapon would be smaller than a heavy melee weapon.
Yes. I will say that my intention with light weapons would be those are ones that you can dual wield easily. For the what was it? Light, medium, heavy.
Yes. For armor, you mean, or
for weapons?
We could just stick with light, medium, and heavy.
Yeah, works for me. So light are going to be easily able to be dual wielded. Medium are going to be what we would call one-handed. They're ones that are going to be more difficult to dual wield. And of course, heavy are going to be your two-handed kind of weapons.
Yeah.
If Scar is mostly meant to be fluff light, you're guessing most of the crunchy stuff is flavorless so that players can skin things as they see fit. What do you mean by fluff light, Lightpaw?
Thank you, Eddie.
Also,
Thanks.
because I kind of know what he means for that. It's actually not a fluff light system.
That was so fucking stressful.
Pat the mayo.
That's the first time, I think, in my life I've caught Groudon in this game, so
Nice.
very stoked about that.
That's a good job, Matteo. You're such a good boy.
Thank you, Master. I was trying not to interrupt what you guys were doing, but I was so excited about that. Oh,
Yeah. So, but yeah, that sounds pretty good. Although I do want to know what your idea for dual wielding is. So I figure we might be able to use the system that I was thinking up for the whole like Gish thing for it. But I want to hear what your ideas are on it first.
As of right now, I am thinking along the lines of Fury, where it'll be a -3 to each accuracy, but otherwise, you know.
I am back.
All right, welcome back. So, one thing that I had in mind, at least for, because you know how I'm supposed to be thinking about how using a move and a weapon at the same time would interact. And so I thought that, oh hey, this might be a really good time to bring up that, because like, you know, how you wanted it to be sort of like a combo attack where the power of the move goes in and the power of the weapon. And like all the effects, and it's basically like it combines the two. So
Yes.
my idea for it is you're able to combine the two moves, but you take the accuracy, like the lower of the two's accuracy. And what you do is it's like at the multi-attack penalty. So the first attack would be technically normal, and then the second attack, which you're making at the same time, would be at the -5. So you'd get to combine all.
Resubscribed for 9 months. Mega boop Tayduk.
Loberon, thank you for that resub and your 9 months of support. Another stream, baby.
stream, baby.
Oh yeah, 9 months.
Yeah, sure. man.
Hey.
Okay, so back up a little bit there, because
Okay.
sound.
So imagine you want to, let's say you want to make a combined sword slash and a move at the same time. Now you could use either of those separately, or you could attack with those separately at the normal multi-attack. Like you could just use the sword slash, and then afterwards you could always then use the move at the normal multi-attack. However, that isn't what we want. We want the powers to be combined. However, in order to make this balanced and keep in mind the effect that integrity has on things, and this would be considered a single attack, so like each of them wouldn't be individually reduced by integrity. So my thought behind it is that what it'll do is you take the two attacks and you act like you make them normally, and you apply the -5 to let's say the higher of the two's accuracy. And then what you do is you make the now singular attack at the new accuracy of the highest accuracy -5. to act as the multi-attack, because it'll be based on the accuracy of a multi-attack. So, like, let's say you had a sword slash that you can make at 11 accuracy and a move you can make at 9 accuracy, and on your turn you want to do a multi-attack combination attack of the two of them. What you do is you find the highest of the two, which would be the 11 on the sword slash, and then you -5 for it being a technical multi-attack, which is now down to 6 accuracy. And then you'd make that 6 accuracy check, and if it hits, you combine the powers and effects of the weapon and the move into a single attack and roll all of it.
I like that idea a lot. Let's ship it.
All right. And the thing to keep in mind is that this means that, like, if you, for instance, use an attack first and like a normal attack, and then want to do a combination like Gish attack or a spell sword attack or whatever we want to call it, it would then be at a -10 because it goes by the multi-attack penalty. So you take the -5 from it being number 2, and then the -10 from it being number 3. Apply the -10 to the highest of the total. And you could still, with that example, make a 1 accuracy spell sword attack on that, if you really wanted to.
Yeah, I'm good with this.
Also, LeBron, yes. That is what we mean.
Could you make some brief notes of that under the to-do list for me, so that way I can, word it in, put it when I get to putting that in?
Yep. But I figured that this could also be a use for dual wielding, because then you could also probably do the same thing with dual wielding, like attacking with both the weapons. Or we could even have it be like you could attack individually and it'd be a Fury, or you could attack with him combined, because, like, in all actuality, the benefit of dual wielding historically was so that way you could attack 2 locations at the same time and they couldn't block both of it. But we can make it so it's more of like a combination where it works like the combined like move and weapon attack.
I kind of like the idea of it being akin to Fury, where, it's got the restrictions of Fury, where you can't use something else with it and such. However, it's only that -3 penalty.
Alright. That's fine. I just more wanted to, like, question that.
I will also say that on that front, I do like the idea of being able to combine, spell sword with the dual wielding. But that would probably be a much more advanced tactic that would...
Yeah, that's probably down a feat tree.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, because I feel like this is balanced enough at, like, the face of it that you probably, like, can pick it up with, like, a single feat with, like, it doesn't even need to be intrinsic, just literally a normal-ass feat. But, like, down the rest, it'd probably be, like, a tree to, like, make it better.
Yeah, I think allowing spell sword stuff will definitely be a feat tree. And then, of course, making it better.
Yep.
There is actually something that I want to do here, though. And that is... Okay. I'm going to be adjusting all of these boxes that we have off to the side. Because while I like them being on the side with the text wrapping around it, it gets really annoying when I'm moving things around because they stay in that position or they move to a new page for some reason. And so I think I'm going to make them in line with the text.
Yeah. By the way, one thing that I think we should put in with the spell sorting thing is that if, for example, you have a physical weapon and a special move, you have to pick which one you're using.
Sorry, repeat that?
So, for the combination, I was figuring that it would, in order to make like the integrity stuff all work correctly, you'd have to pick which, if you're using physical or special, if you have a mixed spell sword. Either that, or maybe... Or what we could do is that it'll automatically target the higher of the two, and then we could make it a feat later on to target the lower of the two.
I like that idea better.
Yeah. I mean,
What's up, Mattio?
I do things as saying F because I failed to catch Rayquaza, and I'm commiserating, but at the same time, that's the first time I've ever gotten to the minigame where I would have been able to catch him, so it's a lot of really new and exciting things happening, considering this is a game from my childhood that I played a lot.
Spooky... there is no need to choose if the accuracy is the same, because then it'll just choose one and it doesn't matter.
I'm back again. Sorry for being in and out. Unfortunately, I had somebody call me at the PC problem and then food arrived.
Were you here to, like, listen to things, or was it just, like, completely gone?
Wireless headphones. So technically,
Yeah.
I wasn't listening to the person that had the PC problem because all they really needed to do was just finally click update Windows for the first time in 3 years.
That sounds about right. But I just wanted to check to make sure I didn't have to, like, re-explain it for you to hear. So what do you think about it?
The spell sword stuff I'm okay with. I definitely agree with the using the lower stat. I absolutely love the multi-attack feature at a -5 because this does allow stronger players to have more attacks if they really invest into Brawl and whatnot, which makes it very worth it for heavy hitter characters. So I'm okay with these things.
Yeah. Cool. Because I was giving it a lot of thought over the past couple days about, like, how to actually make all this work. And I think that this is a system where basically everyone can understand it and be happy with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I would assume, Spooky, that during a situation where both stats are the same and the attacking number is the same, that would be up to the player to determine which one they use at that point in time.
Yeah. Also, the damage doesn't matter because it combines the two. It combines the damage of the move and the weapon.
Yeah.
So the damage is going to be it's going to be the same no matter what. And for the accuracy, it just picks the higher of the two's accuracy and then does the malice. So, for example, if you have a move where, like, you pumped up the accuracy a ton, it could actually probably completely offset the, multi-attack malice for that attack. However, it will still, like, contribute towards your total amount of times you've attacked that turn.
And I understand why you might need a hard rule on which one goes, because technically we do have 2 stats for dodging, physical versus special, but
Yeah.
I think it would be a player call.
Yeah, well, the thing is that that's also why I had it automatically target the higher of the integrities. For evasion, it'll also probably be like targeting the higher of the evasions.
Sheikah, I'm gonna say no, sorry. We're kind of focusing on dev stuff now.
Yeah, I was kind of planning on putting it forward that it would do the same thing as integrity, where it would automatically target the higher of the evasion, and you'd need to pick up a feat to have it target the lower. Lightball, I have never played Legends Arceus, so I could not tell you if that is the case or not.
From what I know, basically not really. I mean, if you... I guess sort of Lightpaw. Sort of Lightpaw in a way. So the way the Arceus combat worked was... for you, Taldarius. Basically, you were able to do... You could sacrifice damage in order to have more attacks more often. Or you could sacrifice speed in order to do less attacks, but heavier hitting. Ooh, a Growlithe.
Ah, okay.
So in a way, we kind of have that. Because if you bump up the accuracy on the move a lot, then you can multi-attack with it more often. But at the same time, you've got a bit of a cap on how much overall damage that you can do with the... we've got a bit of a cap on the overall experience you can spend on a move. So if you bump up your accuracy a whole lot, you can't have a whole lot of damage with it.
Yeah. Later on, it starts to open up a bit more, but yeah. Especially early game, if you put accuracy on something, you're sacrificing damage, pretty much. Or you could also have one where, like, you start getting to the point where you can bump up the accuracy and the damage. However, if you bump up the accuracy and the damage, then you won't have any room for any single special effect, so you're just hitting someone really hard, but mostly normally.
Thank you, dear, for the coins.
And you're not going to be picking up any of the other extra effects, like incurring status effects, giving yourself stat changes, putting range onto the move or reach, any of that good stuff. So yeah, there is opportunity cost by the fact that we have XP cap on moves. Spooky, yes, things that affect turn order does tend to get confusing, and that's why we have all turn order changing effects go into effect the turn after they're used. Specifically to avoid that, because we were getting tired of it, we didn't like it, so now, congratulations, all of it goes into effect the turn after it's used. So priority moves, increase your priority or your initiative by 10 the turn after you use them, for example. Yeah, Lightball, you could have someone just go with sheer force, you could have someone be focused on causing effects, you could have someone basically be a wall and focus on their defenses. There's ones that you can do in order to, like, debuff the opponent, buff up yourself, change damage difficulties of different types, put on weather effects, traps. You could give it AoE instead. You could have it to target additional people. There's a bunch of stuff you're giving up if you're just going to pump the damage as high as it goes, and then throw on some accuracy or like a little bit of reach. For example, my character Shade, for Last Hope Shade specifically, has a move that is at max power for his level that is controllable, and all he had XP left for was giving it 5-foot reach. Because he wanted to be able to hit something hard from a little bit further away, but he can't put anything else on that move for now. He has the zero capability of putting anything else on that move. Unless he wants to start putting negative effects and debuffs for himself on the move, and then,
Okay, this is definitely going to make the sheet a lot better.
Nice.
Putting these little note boxes, as I've kind of been calling them. We've got the note boxes, which are the ones with the dotted lines around them, which are just extra notes to clarify the rules a little bit. Also helps to break up, the monotony of a huge block of text. And then we've got the rules boxes. Because it's alternate realities. You can have whatever kind of world you may want there. There's literally an infinite number of different worlds that could exist in the Scar setting. Hey there, Pikesh.
And as a heads up, Zim, you were close. Technically, alt is technology or magi tech. People using technology to guise a real layer of reality thing as a game.
Oh, okay.
Neat. Match tech, let's go.
Yep, you're using technology to access secret realms and layers to the world that already exist and were accessible by people that knew how to. But somebody guised it as a game, and now you're stuck in it. Surprise!
Kind of sounds like Sword Art Online.
No.
Also, this was another example of why I'm doing the note boxes the way I am now. The exploding dice box at some point got moved off to the wrong place.
Ah, neat.
So now it is properly... Actually, I'm going to put it in between the two, but... Now it is properly where it's supposed to have been.
asks, will Engines and Course Pokemon games be official settings for Pokemon Sup?
Will Enjas and Kur's Pokemon games be official settings for Pokemon Sup? I'm guessing you mean supplement books. I don't think they're planning to sit down and write actual supplement books for their settings. But if they do, I will happily release them. They would be released for free because, they are actual Pokemon stuff, so I'm not going to be trying to make any money off of it.
Cryzen Forgotten.
What was that?
Cryzen Forgotten.
Oh, you mean Starlight?
Cry.
Time frame, that is up to Rygon. I cannot answer that question because I don't own that setting.
Damn it.
I could technically convert Twilight.
All right. So, what was your ideas for things like dual wielding? Because you're talking about like it being easier or harder, depending on if you're using a light or medium weapon.
So, on that front, first off, I will say that just outright, well, maybe with a feat, but by default, you cannot use a medium and light weapon. You have to have both light for dual wielding.
Okay, so you can't have a sword and a knife.
Correct. That said, you could obviously get a feat to unlock that, or I'm still toying with the idea. I may go rules similar to like what D&D and Pathfinder use, where, you know, you've got different penalties if you're using a medium and light weapon versus 2 light weapons, and then of course you'll have feats that can reduce those.
Yep. Also, I feel the need to throw something in media sharing. Let's go, it's possible. Also, funnily enough, I've had multiple people ask me if we're going to make it so that way you can bloodborne meld weapons.
I am unfamiliar with this.
So in Bloodborne, you carry around a melee weapon and a ranged weapon, and you're able to like put the two of them together to make a bigger weapon.
Why not?
Yeah. Well, that was kind of my reaction. I'm like, I mean, there's probably going to be a cost to it, but I mean, like, yeah, you could probably do that.
A main gosh? I have no idea what you mean, Lightpaw.
Oh, so a main gosh is a type of it's a parrying dagger. It's the French word for left hand. That's where it comes from. It's a parrying dagger.
Well, yeah, on things like that, you can absolutely have that, but that is, as far as the specific rules for custom things like that, that is between you and your storyteller.
Yeah. Although we should probably make shield rules at some point. I was thinking about that, but I was like,
too.
we can... What'd you say?
I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah, I meant to, but I was also just like, I'd rather have, like, the main armor thing just done for now. Like, get most of that figured out.
Wake up! Hold the line! This hamlet shall not fall.
Matt Irasu raided my stream with 9 viewers.
Matty! You done for the night? Or at least for now?
Yeah. Yeah, that was a long run and my eyes are starting to hurt.
Alright, well thank you so much for that raid. I hope you rest well. Welcome in everybody! I'll save you all the spiel because I'm pretty sure you all know me anyways by now, so... Unless Matty wants the spiel. But, you know.
Dear, I gave you a raid message. What do you want about? Whatever. Bye, guys.
Hi,
Love you.
Balasar.
Hi.
Oh, you're actually heading out? Alright, rest well.
Yeah, I'll be around to hang later, probably, but
Okay.
yeah. Bye.
Why are shields always the weird one in every system?
Why is what?
Why are shields always the weird item in every system?
I don't think we're going to do anything particularly weird with shields.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking they just follow the rules of armor.
Yeah, it'd just be like a separate item that has like kind of like adds onto your armor.
Keep it simple, stupid.
But I don't want to kiss right now.
Oh well. Okay, but
You're right, you want to lick.
Me resisting the urge to say several jokes in my head because I don't want us to get too off track.
all right. But yeah, so Air, you're fine with the whole like heavy, medium, light weapon idea thing, going with that.
Yeah, I would suggest making it so that way people can dual wield light weapons at some point as well.
Yeah,
but
well,
as
light weapons
stands,
by default are dual
or not
wieldable.
light weapons, but 2 medium weapons.
That is, yeah, that's going to be down a feat tree.
Yeah, that's fine then. Feet tax.
Feat tax, yes, XP tax. You doing shit because cool as it is, you still need to actually like pay to be able to do the shit.
Yep, I'm absolutely fine with that, and it sounds like we're going with the -5 rule, which I'm also fine with.
Yeah, my because it's like I gotta make sure that they are balanced between weapons and moves, because, you know, moves you gotta spend all this XP on, and you only get so much, whereas weapons, it's like, okay, I go out and work a job for a week. Cool, now I got enough money for that super awesome sword.
Yeah, and that's also why I wanted to make sure that like I did something that didn't feel bad, but was impactful towards the balance of using a move and a weapon at the same time to spell sword. Because I put like a lot of thought, like had a lot of ideas, and I feel like the one that like I came up with and we settled on is probably the most balanced way that doesn't feel bad.
Yeah, we don't want feel bad.
Yeah, feel bad is not good.
Yes, dear guardian, feet tax.
Yep.
I suppose while I'm going through this, I might as well... Because I started doing the different colored highlights in sections later on, and some of this earlier stuff I didn't do that in, so I should probably go do that.
Yeah, probably would be a good idea.
You should probably delete things too that aren't relevant anymore.
I don't exactly want to sit here and read through everything, at least not during the dev stream.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess I could do that. That might be my next main thing that I work on, is starting to read it from the beginning.
Yeah. Okay, so for the balance of weapons, do we want medium weapons to be more like in line with moves as our gold standard, or do we want the upper range of heavy weapons to be the equivalent?
That's a very good question.
Because, for example, like what we could do is, or things like, you know, light weapons go, oh hey, tier 1 light weapons, 1 through 4 damage is the expected range. Medium tier 1, like, probably like 2, or when I say damage, I mean power. 2 through 6 is expected power. Heavy, like 4 through 8, yeah, like whatever. And however, if we want to have it be more like medium focused, then tier 1 medium would go to like 8, and then heavy would probably end up going to like 10 or something. But then that means that if you have a heavy weapon, it'll output more than a move of the same tier at your expected attribute level for it.
I would say that heavy should put out basically the upper limits of the tier.
Okay. So, for example, like tier 1 heavy should be at about like 8 power.
Mm-hmm.
So that way it's the same 8 power that like a attribute 10 through 14 character can output with moves.
Correct. But I also think that the heavier moves should come with an accuracy penalty or malice, so that way to kind of balance things. Because otherwise, you get this heavy weapon and hey, this has 8 power. Great, now I'm going to spend 20 XP and get it to a +4 accuracy.
Yeah. I was going to basically do an accuracy tax on light going to medium going to heavy.
Zoom cute.
Hey, all pal.
No.
Alright, so but we do want the heavy to basically be equivalent to the upper ranges of moves of the same expected tier-ish.
Yes.
You know what? Let's go ahead and stick heavy weapons tier 1 as going up to 10, so that way they also are able to compete with attributes 15 through 19. But, like, that'll be on the upper range, and you'll probably have to, like, either make something really good for it, or, like, upgrade it using your XP to reach that level. So maybe let's make the base of it like 6 damage.
Sounds good.
So that way, because the reason why I'm saying 6 power is that 6 power is the maximum damage that you could achieve with your 30 XP starting move. That's how much power you can put into it.
Yeah, sounds good to me.
With the starting character. So then medium can probably go 2 to 8. Or 4 to 8, and then light can go from probably like 1 to 4, but you can dual wield it at base, so it doesn't have to be that strong. How does that sound to you guys?
Sounds fine. I'm not gonna say the thing I was about to say because I don't want to hear Zim scream.
Oh, were you about to say it's time to boot up another spreadsheet and then compare it to the armors?
Maybe.
Because that's what I was about to start doing.
I was about to say I would love to see the math.
Ah, yes. Well, I was about to start getting the math.
Based on the way you're talking, I'm okay with it, mainly because we're not making light weapons too weak.
Yeah.
Because I know that when it comes to a lot of games, there's a huge separation between the big weapons and the little weapons. And I don't think we want that. I think we want a more even distribution.
Especially considering that for light weapons, like, the XP cost to get into them is going to be very low.
Yeah.
But getting to heavy weapons will be a bit more difficult and EXP heavy.
Which is fine. I just want to make sure there's an even distribution. I don't want to see like what you generally see in like Pathfinder and other games where it's like, well, your dagger's 1d4 and your short sword's 1d6 and this great sword's 3d6. It's like,
no.
Where's all the in between, guys?
The 1 through 4, like on your daggers, actually like is pretty good and matters because if you multi attack with like, if you're going at it with dual wielding weapons. It counts as you having Fury if you use both of them, so then your multi-attacks go to a -3 instead of a -5, and you can just keep swinging.
Yep, I'm fine with that.
Yeah. So it sort of has the focus on more of doing chip damage instead of having the focus of trying to get past someone's integrity.
He should probably actually be,
Will be tested right away, too.
Probably, yes.
Because Jace has twin Kikuri, and I was waiting for those rules to come out.
Yep. I think, like, almost everyone has some sort of weapon in DRS right now. Almost. Like, at least, like, half of the cast does.
Daggers.
Because
we got knives everywhere.
Yeah, we got the Fatal Ladle. We have your Kukuri. We have Spectre's knife. Riv was given a knife by Spectre, so he has that. And I think Magna had a knife.
Magna has a knife right now, though we should really take it away.
Yeah, so we got 5 people with melee weapons. Because I don't think Asher has a melee weapon. I don't think Charles does either, because that would imply that Charles would be getting near you in a fight.
Yeah, no, but I know that Charles really wants to start pumping his moves through small arms.
Yeah. Oh, no, I'm just talking about for, like, you
Yeah.
know, the whole melee weapon situation. True, Gimmond. It's secretly a tier 4 artifact, but no one knows it.
He's never used it, and we won't know until it's used. This ladle was founded to scoop the foundations of the universe into place.
Okay, yeah, so, I'm definitely thinking that 1 through 4 is appropriate. Because, yeah, like, let's say, for example, you get a knife, you put a little bit of XP into it, making it go from damage 1 to, from power 1 to power 4. Whatever, that's like 15 XP. You get together a good melee score, you get a specialty for it. Like, you get a melee score of 3, you get a specialty for it. You're rolling 8 damage on that knife slash now.
Hey, somebody skilled with a knife can really mess somebody up, so
yeah, no. They'll, are you ready for my favorite one?
What?
They'll messer you up.
Alright, good night, y'all.
I'm wearing a German joke shirt. I'm sorry I had
make a
to.
messier of this entire situation.
I know, right?
I should have braced for impact.
At this point, everyone, I'm somewhat tuning them out.
But, yeah, I think, medium will be in a bit of a weird spot. Because you can't dual wield it, but you also won't deal as much damage. But with medium, you can still sword and board, so...
Yeah, which is a very popular thing. And if it's only just a feat to go into a medium weapon, I don't think it's... Or to dual wield, I don't think it's that big of a deal. And if you give people the opportunity to go ahead and dual wield medium weapons with a slight feat tax, I think that's fine as well. As long as they have that option, I think people would be fine with it.
Yeah. Obviously, they wouldn't get the Fury effect, and then would probably have to, like, go deep into a feat tree to get, like, the proper Fury effect with medium weapons.
As long as we don't overdo it.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's why I'm saying, like, you'd have to do it, like, pretty deep, because, like, that's supposed to be, like, the big benefit of the light weapon.
Mm-hmm.
But it should be, like, achievable without it being, like...
impossible.
If you're doing it at that point, it's because you're doing it for flavor, probably, or you're just, like, extremely late game.
Remember, fellow STs, if you don't like a rule, you change it.
Yes. Also, spooky, no. No, there is not. However, if there is a size difference between you and an enemy combatant, and you describe things and try to leverage your smaller or larger size, as a part of an explanation for why, like, you're doing this or how you're doing it, then with that, you'll probably get extra bonus dice from Creative Solutions. But no, we don't have any codified that just exist for free. It's something that you kind of have to roleplay for.
Yep.
Those are once again things that you would discuss with your ST.
Yes.
You
With the goal
just
that-
noticed the title, dear?
Yeah, I saw the title, like, right away. But, yeah, for mediums, I mean, yeah, the big benefit for them is probably just going to be that you can easily sword and board just from the start.
Yeah. Plus, like, my idea for the mediums is they are a balance. You know, you don't have as much accuracy penalty, but you don't have as much damage as the heavy.
Yeah. In terms of that accuracy penalty, obviously I'm going to be mathing this out a bit in the coming little bit, but I was thinking that something akin to a... just off the top of my head, how does something like a minus... for mediums, it being something like a -2 accuracy, and then going up to -4. I'll have to math it, but...
With the melee scores, that might be a little harsh, but math it first, probably.
Yeah, math it.
Because I would put in 012 or 013, one or the other.
I also want to point out that they can spend XP and a relatively small amount of it to increase that accuracy and get rid of that.
Yeah.
True.
It's mostly just a balancing method to keep it so you still have to spend XP on weapons and such.
Yeah, because we don't want to make it seem like going into moves is dumb because you're paying for things you could literally just get for free.
True, we or you can start there. Still, math.
Yeah, no, like, trust me, I'm going to math, yeah.
Pours him. I almost feel bad.
Well, you should. The reason that he keeps me around is because I'll do the math instead of him having to do it.
Yeah, I've got a thing I need. What was that? Yeah. I'll get to that. Yeah. Bye. I gotta go.
Okay. I guess Zim wants to do all the math himself later. Then okay, that's fine. I'll let him.
Fuck you.
If you put your head up next to Zim, you just hear like the phone noise. You just hear
the dial-up noise.
And you'll also have your head next to a cutie.
True. Alright, so how are we going to... I think that'll be fine. Alright, so since I could work on this on my own time, other things, I was about to start that thing that I was gonna talk to you about, with messaging various players, putting together a little bit of a, anonymous survey to ask about what everyone's feeling about, all that stuff. For move creation, costs, all that stuff. So, how do you feel about me doing that?
Please do.
Okay. Just obviously wanted to get permission for it first, instead of just, like, fucking off and starting to send out surveys to people.
No, I definitely want the surveys. Just make sure that I have access to the results of them, but, you know.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
Be right back again. I'm going to feed my snake.
Okay. Feed the
Feed the
elk.
noodle.
So Lightpaw, this is going to be a sort of thing where any XP that you put into a weapon is basically by default, going to be a sort of situation where it's like, all right, this is currently a tier 1 weapon. And here are the ranges of a tier 1 weapon, and it should generally stick to being about here. Because you might, you might get a tier 1 weapon that's, like, gotten a little bit stat shifted, or you might want, like, a little bit of a stat shift on yours for whatever reason. But here's the expected range for a tier 1 weapon. Here's about where it'll start, here's about where we think it should end up. And, if you get, per se, a new weapon that is better, or you improve your weapon somehow, without using EXP means, what we're thinking is that it would sort of, like, quote-unquote, like, refund the EXP investment. On the weapon itself, not for everything you did to get there, and all the other stuff you have. It is just for, like, let's say that you had a weapon where you put 15 EXP into increasing its accuracy, and you get a weapon of a higher tier, and you want to move over to that weapon, you could basically reclaim the XP from the weapon that you're getting rid of, and instead put it into the XP of the new weapon you have. I didn't explain that the best, but that's...
So, we're still playing around with that idea. But the idea behind it is, first off, weapons can be upgraded. And it's kind of like with moves. Like, if you want a weapon, if you want to completely redo or get a new weapon altogether, rather, I'm thinking that the experience that you spend on a weapon is tied to that weapon. However, if your storyteller wants to let you take it over to a new weapon or something, that is between the two of you. But any XP, by default, it's just like making a new move. You don't get a bonus to experience on a new move, so you're not going to get a bonus to experience on a new weapon. If that makes sense. That said,
Okay.
You can upgrade the weapon, just like you can upgrade moves.
Alright, are we not going to be doing... Because I was going by what we had in the document for that. Are we not going to be doing that as much then?
No. I'm thinking that it is going to be it's going to follow the same rules as moves.
Alright, but then what's the recourse if the weapon gets lost, damaged, or destroyed?
I think if they are just outright, in that case, you will get a refund of the XP.
Okay, then what's stopping someone from destroying their weapon to get the weapon EXP?
The storyteller.
I know, I'm just saying, like, you know, by... If we put it in that if it's destroyed, then you'd get it feels a little. This is one of those things where, like, I'm looking at it, it feels like much like with the thing with like the attack, like you can't repeat moves during like the same turn thing. People are just going to be doing dumb workarounds to try and like get past it, which is more why I'm bringing this up.
Well, yes. But just like with the moves, like, I don't care if they make a copy of the move. The thing there is that they've spent the XP for that second copy.
Yeah. Well, the reason that I'm more bringing it up is because, we are trying to make it so that way things of this nature are not, that we try and not, like, make things that are,
Okay,
that people would feel the need to do these kind of workarounds.
Can I make a suggestion?
Yes.
Yeah, sure.
50% buyback. You get 50% back of what you put into it, but you have to go through special means of getting it back.
Works for me.
All
right. That way players always have a method of getting that experience back, so they're not dropping a bunch of stuff into tier 1 weapon and then losing it. And yeah.
Yep. And so, but like, I just didn't want us to do that thing where like we make a game design choice that like people would probably not like, with the explanation of if they don't like it, they could just talk to the storyteller about it. I feel like we should always try and make the mechanics with it being like fun and more like even if it's something where like we have to come up with something for, we should probably try and like actually like come up with it instead of just going and the storyteller can figure it out between them.
I just came in to say good luck, and we're all counting on you.
Okay. Have fun with that, Rex.
Rex is adorable.
Yes, he is.
I'm making that reference. Hey, everybody. Just want to come in and say hi for a bit before y'all get started with the tabletop game in an hour or so.
Rex, you're adorable.
Appreciate it.
Rex cute, Zim cute.
Yeah, I only suggest the 50% buyback, though, because I know that if you dump a bunch, since we're using experience specifically, I wouldn't want to bother dumping a bunch of experience into a tier 1 weapon.
Yeah, like, if I can't get it back, I'm just not going to do it.
Yeah, it'd be better to dump it somewhere else. At least with the 50% buyback, I know that after strengthening my +1 weapon, I could get some of that back when we go up to a tier 2 weapon.
Yeah, and then instead of, like, doing a purchase that I could never get, like, value out of, now I'm just purchasing something in the short term to get through this, and then, like, later on, like, it sucks losing a bit of XP, but honestly, not that bad. But yeah, I just want to be careful because I don't want to make mechanics with the solution in mind being, just talk to the storyteller about it if you don't. Because this is the sort of thing that most people will really not like the idea of and will just be trying to get around it.
I was listening a bit ago. Sound like EXP for weapons is
yeah,
kind
so
of an
this
issue.
is right now we're discussing things about like being like the capability of reclaiming XP that you've spent on upgrading a weapon, and like the pros and cons of like certain things to do with it.
Yeah, I listened for like 5 minutes before I jumped in just to kind of have an idea. Y'all didn't. The idea of having a different point system would just make it more complicated, right?
We already did that with merits, and we're not doing that again.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I was thinking. The merits whole thing.
Actually,
in-game time.
That is a
because
very good
that'd be
voice line.
experience points. Could it be just like kind of a like RP kind of thing where like you use?
Yeah, well, that's what we were talking about with like having to do something to reclaim it. So it's not just like an automatic thing. You have to like do something to reclaim it. Yada yada.
Yeah, I don't know. In my brain, I'm like, without thinking about all the numbers, I was just imagining like the idea of if you wanted something to be better, you'd have to use, role playing in game time, maybe a dice roll, and then it doesn't really use your XP. You're just honestly, you're using what would actually be what's something that you can't get back, and it'd be something that costs time. So yeah, I know it's probably not the funnest thing to think about, having to actually like wait in game to make a weapon better, but
oh no, it's not about that. It's that we don't want to put in costs that are explicitly punitive or required based on RP.
Oh, okay.
That's more why we aren't doing things like that. Because we don't want to put in things where like it requires you to roleplay or otherwise be punished.
And the problem with time in a lot of these games is not everybody gets the time to actually stop and do things in certain settings and campaigns.
Yeah.
And in certain settings and campaigns, building a sword could take an hour versus, a week.
Yeah.
So...
like Pokemon, it's a little bit different.
It depends, because technically, if we were to look between today's time period, how long it would take to stamp out and rock out a sword with all the specialized equipment and hydraulic presses and stuff we have versus somebody back in 1500, there's going to be a significant time investment difference between what they could do in an hour and what we could do in an hour. So
yeah,
it's best to leave time out of it and let the settings dictate reasonable amounts of time. And rule of cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
rule of cool, rule of fun. Cool. I agree with that.
Yeah, so the thing about it is just that like I prefer us to have like actual like mechanics to reclaim it, because then otherwise like this is just one of those mechanics that I know for a fact, just due to like how many games I've been in, that people will bitch incessantly and do anything they can to basically like try and get those investments back.
Yeah.
And honestly, like a lot of what would just probably happen if we didn't do anything is that storytellers would just get annoyed into basically going, all right, you know what? Sure, take how much XP did you put on the sword? Okay, take this amount of a discount towards your next sword.
Yeah, I don't know. My brain goes to like the idea of you'd want to keep, if you broke the sword, as long as you have the materials, you can use it to reforge, and you'd still get the benefits of it because metal and what kind of stuff you put into it. I know logically, probably no, because if you melt down domestic steel, it's not domestic steel or something. But I'd imagine like the refund would involve you using the same material, and you'd still get your discount. You'd still get your same.
Well, we're also talking about upgrading to another weapon, where, like, for example, people aren't going to put XP into a tier 1 weapon if they know that they just gotta wait a bit and then they could get access to a tier 2 weapon that actually, like, now they won't be, quote-unquote, like, wasting their investment of XP, and now they'll go ahead and just save up a bunch of XP and then put it all into the tier 2 weapon the moment they get it.
I see that.
So, Lightpaw, as far as setting... Oh, there's an ad break. I should wait to respond to their question or comment.
Well, I hate to like bounce on the ad break, but I probably should get inside then, just do the thing I'm supposed to be doing today, relaxing, celebrating, with Holo for a bit. I just want to poke in for a bit and say hi.
What are we
everybody.
celebrating, Rex? What are you celebrating?
Just literally the same thing as yesterday. Friendship Day, basically, since I'm giving time for Holo. I bought a Beyblade thing. I'm about to play Beyblades. I'm pretty freaking stoked. Yeah, that's the general idea. Just basically chilling out today. But
well, I try to forget that yesterday even happened.
No.
Well, yeah, I'm just literally just chilling out today. Just kind of, I just wanted to come in and say what's up to all of you. Give hugs. So.
Pet.
Okay, so the ad break's over. Lightpaw. It'll also create a thorn in the process for moving to a setting that doesn't have a wide variety of inherent attacks. So I will say that this system is primarily designed for creatures that have inherent attacks. You know, Pokemon, Digimon, things of that nature. It can be used, like, we do want it to be able to be used for something like Star Trek or Firefly, if people want to. But it's not the main goal of the system.
Yeah. But we do want to make it flexible enough so that way it could be done.
Yeah. You could do an attunement system. For example, to put XP into weapons, you have to attune or bond with it, take a long rest to do it, and a long to undo it. Whether the weapon is sold, lost, destroyed, etc. does not matter, but undoing the bond refunds any invested XP. I'm not certain about that one, Spooky.
Alright, sir. I love you. Love you all. I'm going to go ahead and head on out.
Love you too. See you later.
Bye, Rex. Rex cute.
Bye, Alpha. You're cute. Catch you later.
By the way, Spooky, that's kind of already a little bit of how it was working, but we're moving away from it to go with something else. I mean, that's not exactly how it works, but vaguely.
God, where did it go?
Yeah, I wouldn't do the bonded weapon thing either.
Yeah.
To be honest. Because that would incentivize people just sticking with one weapon, period.
Yeah.
And then there's no tax for, ever changing away from it. So, or it wouldn't incentivize people sticking with one weapon. It would incentivize people just going to the biggest, heaviest weapon always.
Yeah. Or a weapon that has, a good cap.
Yeah.
Or basically just hoarding their XP until they get a weapon that they feel like actually deserves the XP, and then dumping all of it, and now they have a god weapon.
Yeah, it's a balancing act.
Yeah.
I see the idea. It's an idea I think that would be great in certain settings, but not most.
Yeah, that's more of a specific thing. Because I know I kind of have something at least a little bit similar to that I'm putting in Starlight with the relic system, but hey, that's a setting specific thing. It is not meant for widespread.
Yeah, it will be an alt because I have a legendary weaponsmith on PC that will be showing up. So if they meet him, then they're gonna get special treatment.
Yeah, but okay, so I'm gonna be making a thing for that. Just going back to it. So how are we feeling about the 50% rebate if you basically want to reclaim it from a weapon?
I like that.
Yeah, I think that 50% rebate is fair, has an opportunity cost. It, but it isn't an extremely feels bad thing. Because, on one hand, the thing about old moves that you don't use as much is that you could always raise them up to a standard that you want to have. Like, the XP is just invested now. With a weapon, it's more based on something external that could get destroyed or lost or whatever, and I don't want them to, be completely fucked over. If they invest a bunch of XP into it, and then just straight up,
I really do not like having this table by itself on a page. But this armor table is not going to fit. I can't really fit anything else with it.
Yeah.
Time to throw in images.
Yeah. I have to commission them first.
Images, or I could always go and, like, just explain more shit, but yeah.
Well, the table itself is only, like, it's got a tiny bit of space that we could put images in, but as far as... yeah, we'll probably need to put in more armor explanations or something in here, so that way there's not this giant space here, but I could fill this with a big image. You know, there's lots I could do. But it'll be a later problem. Right now it doesn't matter.
You do have several players you can ask to borrow their art of their characters too.
As much as I would love to, I am specifically avoiding using the existing characters because they are very clearly Pokemon and Digimon and such.
Oh, true.
Yeah.
We'll wait until alt.
I know at one point I will be, one thing that I am really looking forward to is, working on our own bestiary.
Yep. Also, Spooky, the reason why you would do that is because if you're being a weapon-based character, your weapon is directly tied to how strong you are at this moment.
Yep.
That's why you do it.
I'm not sure why you're bringing up stat arrays and point by Lightpaw.
To bring up the fact that we could always put together an array of rules that you just choose whichever one you want of alternates.
Those are going to be in there, though. We have alternate rules.
Yeah.
Get it throughout.
We already kind of have a mascot character, Zolet, if you look at the literal image for Scar. We have a little boy. We have a little boy, yeah.
Originally that was going to be Zrax, but I have decided he's going to be his own character. I have a lot of characters that, you know, there's a lot of characters that could have fan art, Raijin.
Yeah.
Be right back really quickly. I gotta go scold Mala.
Okay.
Is he awake still?
Yep.
Okay.
Hello.
Hello?
Hello.
Uses that one.
Okay, so on the other list of things that I wanted to think about and go over is
You have been making notes of all this so far, right?
yeah.
Because I'm working on other stuff right now. Still with the system, but I'm not making notes of this stuff.
Yeah.
Good thing that these are recorded.
I don't have time to go listen to my own recordings.
That's what other people are for, though, right?
True.
Fair.
Hi, Rahar.
Hello.
There's got to be at least a couple of people around here that are willing to take notes and can completely tolerate the sound of their own voice.
I'm one of them.
I hate my voice.
Pat, pat.
I think your voice is fine, but I know that's the thing.
It depends. I like my actual speaking tone, not my up-pitched one, but I don't use my regular speaking tone often. So...
Makes sense.
Sound like a nerd.
That box was supposed to be over here.
I misheard that at first, Sim, and I'm sorry.
What did you hear?
That fox was supposed to be over here.
Ah.
I didn't know you had any foxes.
Oh, yeah, I've got one.
Huh.
Oh, for a personal character? No.
No, not for a personal character. I meant more as a pet. I thought...
Oh, yeah.
Cool.
I have many pets.
Ooh.
Zim bought rope in bulk.
What?
Old joke is old.
Ah.
Old dragon
Also-
is old.
Completely wrong community to be telling that joke into as well.
Fair enough.
How did you get all these guys in your room? Oh, I bought rope in bulk.
Oh.
All right. So I know what we could discuss, and it's something that we should have needed to discuss for quite a while, which is what the actual fuck are we doing with healing moves?
Ah, yes.
And temp HP also, but you know, healing moves.
Healing moves are important.
I have no idea. Like, it's hard where you only have so much HP to really come up with something.
And we don't want to include other dice in it as well, correct?
Yeah, we want to keep it to D10s.
Yep. I mean, I'm good with including other dice, but Taldarius is very against that.
It was literally one of our design philosophies for the entire system from the beginning that we would use D10s and only D10s, and I'm not letting you deviate from it to make things easier.
Which is...
Me.
Okay, ladies. Because I was going to propose
like...
a D4 healing system that is in Epithet. But we could probably modify it. Go
it's
ahead.
like, good point, but counterpoint.
Okay, look. There are a couple of things that we could do. For example, literally just buying healing by the HP point. So, like, for example, like, spend 10 XP, you get a move that heals 1 HP, you can use it basically whenever you want. It's lower, it doesn't do as much, but hey, it is just straight up, like, consistent, and you can do it. Then there would be things that we could do with how, like, it is right now, kind of, with you roll the d10, like, based on however many you purchased on it, and you roll that many d10s, add up the face value, that's how much HP you heal. And then you use the vigor for yourself or willpower for someone else.
I kind of like the system, or the way it is right now, with the, D10. Because, one, it is more fun to have a random number. Even if it sucks sometimes to get that, result of 1. When you do get that max result, it's like, yeah! Whereas, for a set number, it's like, here, have 1 HP. Plus, I don't really want to... I don't want to XP tax those that want to be a healer. Because getting a healer in a game can be difficult to get that person that's willing to play the healer. And making it taxing on them doesn't feel good with going with the 1 HP equals 10 or whatever we do for that.
Yeah. Well, for current rules, we had it that, like, if you have a move that affects yourself, it can affect an ally within 30 feet. That was the thing, right?
So as far as that goes, I am making it that they need to be range.
Okay.
So you would have to purchase range to... So basically, by default, if you just buy a move and give it 1d10 healing, it's going to be a touch heal.
Okay. That makes sense. I was just more going over, because obviously with how, like, how it was, it would be, So, good.
Do we want it to be d10s, or do we want it to do as success dice in line with everything else? And
well, it's not everything else. It's
most everything else.
I'm torn on that.
Because we could treat it like power then, and people could buy more dice for their healing.
Yeah.
I kind of like that idea, but...
We can always give it a base level heal.
Yeah. Well, we could make it so that way it has, like, a... I don't know, because this is something I was thinking for something else, but, like, we could always just have it be that, like, your ranks in medicine is the minimum amount it can heal, but if it's being rolled a certain amount of times, already based probably off of medicine if it's a healing move.
I do like the idea of going by dots.
Also, yes, it does do that. Because we don't have negative HP. But you do keep your current progress towards dying, so... on your death saves.
Yeah, so real quick for Varian, healing with a move is not a magical form of healing. Like, it will do the bare minimum to keep your body alive, but you still have those cuts. You still have that damage. It's not outright magic like D&D and Pathfinder where, boom, I am... In a tabletop game, it's kind of pointless to keep track of it at that point, when you get to those kinds of numbers.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, on an aside, just had an idea. So I know we were talking about wanting to be able to do, like, preventative healing. However, what if we also made it so that way, because I've just like randomly remembered that this is how it works in multiple games, including funnily enough Age of Wonders 4, where if you use a healing thing on someone, it doesn't quote unquote restore their HP correctly, which goes into the same sort of thing with how, oh hey, this doesn't actually heal your wounds, it just lets you ignore them. What if it doesn't actually change your current hit points and instead gives you temp HP?
I like that idea.
And then when the combat is over, the temp HP, much like your adrenaline, cuts out.
So it's literally an adrenaline shot now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What if we have it be like that? Because it's intentionally non-magical. Well, okay, let me just explain why I'm talking about that. Because, like, are we still thinking, like, what healing system are we thinking about going by in terms of numbers? Are we thinking about going back to, like, making it do just, like, a couple here and a couple there, but you can spam it, but it doesn't actually heal? Or are you thinking about it being something akin to face value, roll dice, or are we thinking dot system?
I'm thinking dots.
Dots,
But
okay.
you can spam it.
But you can spam it. Dots, but you can spam it. Okay, cool. In that case, the reason why is because then otherwise all someone has to do is do, like, heal purchase on the move a couple times, a little bit of range, and then add additional target friendly, add additional target friendly, add additional target friendly, and spam it ahead of a fight, technically infinitely, and, like, or at the beginning of a fight, and just, like, everyone has massive temp HP shields going into every fight.
Yeah, that's why I wondered if there was going to be a maximum.
Yeah. So that's why I'm worried about that, is because otherwise it turns into something extremely abusable. For only being able to have as much restorative temp HP as you do, like, are missing HP.
Oh, for missing... Okay, yeah, that... Letting it only go up to your max HP. That's I'm fine with.
Yeah, basically only being able to make up the difference between your current HP and your maximum HP on restorative. And then we were discussing, like, other things, but yeah.
Yeah, I just don't want to incentivize people spending a minute before going to the boss arena, you know, building them up so much HP that they're going to walk in the boss arena and it doesn't matter how much damage he does.
Yeah, so, there's also a reason why we're kind of like recommending that, considering that stat changes exist, like, you know, pre-buffing before bosses doesn't work because it gets cleansed or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't mind pre-buffing, I just like putting limits on it because
I
have, as a player, literally done the, okay, we're going to go to this boss. Let me go ahead and give everybody 35 temp HP plus 25 temp HP per P. Plus, I'm going to make sure that you take half damage here, and then I'm going to...
Yeah. So we don't want to like encourage that sort of stuff, but we want people to do it in neat or creative ways. So, like, I know one for Lost in Chaos that we did is we had an idea, and so someone used water gun, but just to, like, spray the ground down with water. Because they had, like, an idea behind it, instead of someone just going, okay, everyone, I'm just gonna make a litany of buff moves. It'll +1 all stats, and then we'll stand out here. Everyone will go in with +6 Omni boost. So, because we're not doing that.
Definitely not.
So I also don't want to let them do it with the, preventative temp HP by letting them just sit out there and go, all right, we have 100 temp HP now. Let's go.
Yeah. So if we put a soft cap on it of half their maximum HP, that means that they can't do that. But they can walk in with at least 5 additional temp HP when they know the fight's going to be hard, and I'm perfectly fine with that. I just don't want.
Yeah, if you want to get like half of your health is like an overshield, like by starting out the fight with it. Obviously that has like some implications, but like also Depending on what you're going into, it could also probably be dispelled as a stat change. But yeah. But so how are we feeling about maybe starting out? You can only have one source of preventative on you at any time, and then you could probably get a feat that lets you get up to half your max HP of preventative.
Yeah, we can go with that.
At least for now. I know it has some possible problems, but this needs to be play tested before we'll really know. But on the face of it, I think that this is probably fine.
It is a place to start.
Yep. Healing. Success. Spooky, we don't want to do that because we also want to let people use stuff like this in narrative benefit. So, like, for example, like, putting a little, like, temp HP shield barrier over yourself as you're about to go through an area that has a lot of debris flying around or whatever. It's just more of, like, something, like, we don't want to limit things to being combat only and narrative only. We want to let people do both, if at all possible.
Pakesh, you can if you're here to discuss, the SCAR system development stuff that we're working on. I don't really want to, we're trying to stay focused here, You were supposed to be way up there.
Alright. So, no, I don't want to talk about that yet, because I want to do the survey. Okay. In that case, what else was on my list of shit we needed to go over? I would say status effects, but that's going to be, like, a whole ass day on its own. Plus more, probably, but... So I'm not gonna say that we should start going over that. Do we have... Also, I'm gonna delete the thing I learned in boating school. It's gone. I knew it was there the entire time. I'm just like, okay, it's lived its life. It can leave now. What was another good thing to go over?
Spooky, I was thinking, well, the thing is that if we call it I don't want to do phantom health. That just sounds more weird.
Yeah, I like just calling it temporary, especially because once the fight ends or the scene ends or whatever, the temp HP all goes away.
Phantom health sounds like a horror shooter game.
Yeah, it does actually.
It sounds like, what is it? A Fatal Frame. It feels like that style of game.
Yeah. I mean, I guess maybe we shouldn't completely Thanos snap the whole temporary HP thing, because again, the in combat, out of combat thing is a little bit thing, but probably it just lasts for the rest of the scene.
Probably. There's a lot of room to play with it.
Yeah, there's a lot of room to play with that.
Lasting for the scene is fine.
Yeah, I mean, because it also runs the risk of, yeah, sure, you can heal it back, but if you get into another fight and then you start losing more HP, you're already down all that actual HP, and you're going to feel it. Could also make it so that way you get the wounded status effect if your current HP reaches 0. That could be a mechanic to actually give out the wounded status effect.
I like that. And of course, when it comes to the healing, when it comes to the actual, like, even the restorative temp HP, if you are at 0, it will be able to get you back up.
Oh, yeah, yeah. But, you know, it'll give you the wounded status effect, which is literally requires that you actually get medical attention.
You're going to hit the dirt right after the combat's over.
Yep, and you could get picked back up again, but you're going to be feeling it the entire way back.
It's going to be like the movie Crank, except you're that. Give me the adrenaline. Just stick it in me.
Stick the morphine in me.
Yes. Put the morphine in my body.
And hey, if you ever play a healer, you can imitate many video games and tell people to hold still, you Civ.
Get the fuck up!
Okay.
Does somebody need to yell out, "Ah, I need a healing spell"?
I need a healer.
Oh, God. So I would ask about the whole shield thing, but I feel like that will probably use the piecemeal system, and so we need to have the piecemeal system first.
The piecemeal system I'm planning to do, I'm thinking just everything together is going to add up into... Because I don't want to complicate things with targeting specific areas and such.
Yeah, that's what I thought, yeah.
So I am planning to do it in a... You are... You know... You got this pauldron, you got these bracers, you got, I don't know, metal kilt, whatever. All of them together equal tier 2 armor, whatever.
Okay, so what else can we discuss in 15 minutes?
Spooky, no. I don't know about adding a penetrate thing, trait from moves.
Yeah, I feel like that would be an instant include on everything because it means your damage ignores healing and you can't be healed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be like a special boss mechanic that makes everyone fucking terrified of the boss. That's what that is.
Oh, I just had an idea now. Thank you.
You're welcome. Don't worry, I already used it for Adric and it scared people shitless.
Just like video games. The bosses can do something you can't do.
No, actually, it is an actual thing in Pathfinder where he did have a mechanic that he used because what I do for all of my shit in Pathfinder is I legitimately just make characters that utilize actual mechanics.
Cool.
Yeah, so it's a specific sphere ability that like if you fail to save the target, like the target fails to save, they can no longer be healed.
Yep. That is a thing that exists, yes.
Yep. So he had that. It basically made a bunch of people go, "Oh shit," when they realized that they couldn't get healed.
But no, you just made the big bad in my game a little bit more scary.
Oh,
I love
no.
helping with that. Happy fun times.
Hey Zim, the scary thing is scarier.
Where we scary?
The thing that made the party almost run.
Almost run?
Half the party tried to run, half the party didn't, and the only reason why we're not one party member down or didn't go down a party member is because the enemy rolled a 1. If he would have hit, he would have killed one of the party players, and it was a permanent death, not the temporary death that's normal in Twilight. It was an undoing. The big bad in that game is a being that can undo them.
Ooh. Scary.
Yes. And at some point, he may get the ability to bypass armor now.
Oof.
Oh yeah, we're really gonna need to actually finish putting in all the maneuvers at some point.
Sounds like a good idea. Actually, funnily enough, the last time I checked the SCAR document, there was something for each maneuver, but there was nothing for parry. Have you guys talked about parry?
Yeah, we do. We do have an actual parry mechanic. It's in. Are you able to see ScarDev?
I should be able to, yeah.
Yeah, everybody in the current tabletop games can see that.
That's what I figured. Here, I'll just ping it for you.
Ooh.
There you go.
All right, you asked about the whole designing a move that was basically counter, and I said look at parry rules, and the parry rules weren't in the book.
Yeah. There we go.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Me being a very helpful ST/GM. Just look in the book for this one thing that I know exists. It doesn't exist.
Yeah. Or it's like,
funny.
it's because it like existed some errata somewhere you saw one time and just filed away, and we're like, where the fuck did it go?
Yes, my goodness. My problem with 3.5.
Yeah. Oh god.
Well, I run both I played 3.5 and ran it for several years, and I switched to Pathfinder, and I keep on having these moments where I'm like, I thought it was this way. Is that 3.5 or is this Pathfinder rule that I'm currently citing?
Yep.
The answer is usually
Hey,
3.5 again.
you're made it into primary dev.
What was that?
Yeah.
You made it into primary developers.
Oh, I did?
Yeah, you did.
Oh, fancy.
Nice.
Although you're gonna have to take, I guess you're gonna have to take them out of Drunk Dragon era playtest players.
I just found that the whole scene funny because every other maneuver had something written in the book, but not parry.
Yeah, well, it's because we were like, what the fuck do we do with parry? And then like there was the whole clash mechanic that Zim was explaining, and then not Zim, sorry, that was being explained by Digi, and I think it was no, Squirrel wasn't there. It was Paz and Chomper. That was it. Paz and Chomper were getting where it starts getting to be kind of like, oh hey, yeah, if you guess right, congratulations, you can counter it and possibly even counterattack. And then we're like, that's a parry. Let's use that. Hey Digi, can we steal this and change it a bit? Sure. Okay, we're stealing it. Thanks.
Fair enough. Makes sense to me.
Bear in mind, this is exactly how D&D was technically built. A bunch
Yep.
of idiots sat at a table and kept on playing until they came up with a system. And THAC0 only lasted so many years, thankfully.
I still know and like Thaco.
I like Thaco once I understood it, but every time before
That's
that, when somebody tried to explain it to me without actually sitting me down and showing me how it worked, it was madness.
I remember that there was talk about an old school revival or old
real
school
quick,
essentials game.
because we're getting a little off topic here.
Yeah.
Lightpaw, so we are going to be going through and drawing ideas from the Pokemon abilities. However, a lot of them will probably not make the cut into Scar.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I don't think we want to have Perish Song in the car system.
Yeah, at least not like for like official things, no.
Yeah.
For things that are in like specific franchises, that's up to you, like, you know, when playing the franchise to like remember and go with and all that. But for the base Scar system, we're only going to be taking inspiration from the sort of things we want in here.
Scar's ultimate purpose is to be universal enough to be available for anything needed.
Yep. Alright, so also, Zim, I got something that I want to, like, bring up just to ask about, because this is something that is going to be a relatively short discussion. I think you should be able to buy accuracy for status moves, and it basically acts like buying power.
I thought that was already a thing.
It was not already a thing, technically.
Huh. Ah.
Because the accuracy stage of an effect is the percentile dice.
Ah.
So technically speaking, you weren't able to purchase accuracy, but I mean, everyone kind of already was, but by base rules, you weren't supposed to.
Fair enough.
Okay. Yeah, you could buy accuracy for the setting of the DC.
Well, when I asked you before, you said that it was not supposed to be for like the combat thing, because I brought up, oh hey, is the because since the attack for it in accuracy moves was I asked if it was supposed to be in the accuracy section of it, and you said no, it's not supposed to be an accuracy thing. It's supposed to be power versus integrity, and you're going to be moving it later. And so, since it was supposed to be power and integrity, and we specifically didn't want to put in a stat change for people raising their ability to do stat changes, technically speaking, the percentile dice was the only accuracy part of it, because you were going to be moving the effect to a different section. You still haven't moved it, but...
For some reason, I am still not following you.
Okay. Because the accuracy of the effect move is, technically speaking, the percentile dice, and if you have guaranteed chance, then you don't need to roll the percentile chance. It would then go to what equates to power versus integrity, and you had said that you were intending to move the part where it said, when the effect triggers, you roll soul plus expertise plus skill against the soul score. Because that's supposed to be a power versus integrity thing, and it's not supposed to be accuracy, but we didn't have a way for them to buy additional power or accuracy, technically, like more dice to roll on the move to see if it affects.
Okay, we'll set it, we'll just use power. I mean, it's the same cost for each.
Yeah, I know. I'm just more pointing out that it's like, you know, we didn't have anything for it, technically, because it was supposed to be moved. I mean, it wasn't, but as a result of a previous discussion, I was basically trying to circle back to it and go, hey, I really feel like you should be able to do this. Because we didn't technically have a way to do it by base rules. Alright, I'll go ahead and stick that in the to-do. Clear that. Make purchase additional dice to...
No, Discord, I am not human. Stop asking me.
I feel like that's decent enough to make be on to do. I'm gonna clear up some of the to-do list stuff. I guess we don't need armor there anymore.
When it comes to this, I like to cross it out. Doing the same thing as, you know, highlight it green, and then after a while, yeah.
Oh, because, like, for to-do list, I was just like, oh, hey, this is no longer on our to-do list, so just get rid of it.
I like to do this for because I know there's at least one person that goes and looks at the to-do list. And this way, it's like, hey, the armor's crossed out. That means it's somewhere in the dock.
Okay.
And, of course, over time, it'll go, you know, blue, purple, and then be deleted.
Cool. Yeah, I was just more like... I figured that we were just doing other shit for the to-do where we just Thanos snap it. Also, I like how we have advancement on here twice. We have update character advancement rules and advancement question mark. Oh yeah, also we can cross out bosses, get 2 turns per round.
Technically, I haven't actually added that in yet.
Oh, okay. I thought that it was in the storytelling section.
For boss fights, I have bosses are meant to be difficult. They are intended to...
Ah, okay. Yeah,
So,
I thought that it
where's
just straight up we
sentence?
had them. Alright.
Here, I'll finish the sentence for you.
Don't you dare say the thing I learned in boss fight school.
That's not what I put.
God damn it. Tended to complete boating school first. Okay. There you go.
What I learned in boating school is...
What about for things like the healing on the to-do list? Should I just Thanos snap that because now we have a new entry, or?
Cross it out as well.
Cross it out as well? Okay. I'm not gonna do the coloration thing. I'm just gonna cross it out because we've got a new shit. So we also are going to need to make a list of actions that trigger AOO. Are you really gonna... It's not even... Okay. For things that trigger AOO, I'm just gonna assume that it's going to be things like utilizing a ranged move or a ranged weapon or a marksman attack while within threatened range of someone, yada yada yada. Pulling an item out that isn't like pulling an item from a container, shit like that.
Yeah. I started that section, haven't finished yet.
Yeah. No, I figured that like that's just going to be our like we're basically just going to draw heavy inspiration from like other systems when it comes to AOO. Mostly because it's just kind of mostly just based on logic instead of any sort of like specific design philosophy. It's just kind of logical.
Damn it, Lightpaw, fine. I like that wording too much. But damn you.
Ha, you're being made to work, Zim.
I know, right? I think this was one of the more productive dev days in a long time.
I'm glad to hear that.
Yep. Next week, I'm hoping to have put out a thing about the whole move costs questionnaire and have people answer it.
Let me know if you need help. And or want help, or want me to do the preview.
I'll probably use you to, like, preview it.
Okay, I will touch the things and do QA outside of my normal QA job.
It's just not going to be that much QA. It's literally just going to be,
joking.
Here's my list of questions. Can you think of any others?
I'm joking. I wanted a quality assurance job because I actually enjoy it. I just don't like my coworkers.
Fair.
Yes. Also, Gimmin, good idea. I'm going to make sure that I put together another full proposal for weapons, much the same as I did for armor.
Yeah, I get to look over math again, and not actually have to do the math.
So,
even though I like
yes, I will go work on this other part instead.
Okay, don't worry. I'll just sit you down and make sure to explain it in nice detail.
I'll be here for emotional support, but probably not for your emotional support.
I'm glad you guys are having fun.
Yeah. I mean, look, we legitimately... I mean, I know they're not, like, properly codified in rules, but we just came up with a thing for how weapons are going to work with moves, the different categories of weapons and their intention. Finally went over the healing system, put together, like, a method of getting the wounded status effect, like all that shit. This has been a very productive day.
Yeah.
Now I just gotta find the time and motivation to actually write it out properly.
Yeah. I mean, again, I could just start writing stuff out if you want. I just know that you like to be the one to write shit in the doc.
I do. Plus, it keeps it more consistent on the wording and such.
Yep. I know that mostly you only have me write things in the doc when you are, like, done bashing your head against the wall on how to word something.
Well, yes, and the time... It's more I'm bashing my head against a pedantic dragon. And then I'm like, you know what? You just do it.
I'm sorry that I am improving and making sure that the quality of the system is as high as it could be.
Tell Darius, if your head gets any bigger, it's not going to fit in this room anymore.
I am allowed to have as big of a head as I want. I am a dragon.
I'm well aware. I'm just warning you that if we have to get the butter out to pop you out of here, you cannot complain, okay?
That I will agree to.
Because I'm a dragon too, but I at least keep my ego somewhat in check.
I am keeping this first line to the armor section.
That's fine.
So, after an excruciating encounter with a pair of dragons, it was determined that perhaps you all would like to know about armor.
I'm just liking the feeling that, like, a bunch of people are going to think that without context it was trying to fight multiple dragons and got wounded, when instead it was just math.
Two dragons sat down, came up with a concept, did a bunch of math, argued about the math, and then tried to explain math to somebody that's not very mathematically inclined.
Yes.
So anyways, thank you everybody for joining us so far on the stream today. That was our Scar Dev session for this evening. We're going to move over to the Squirrel's Adventures now, because, well, even if people aren't showing up, my brain is dead now.
Alright.
So thank you all so much for joining. Check out our website, zgfgaming.com. We've got links for our Discord, Telegram, Mastodon, Blue Sky, Patreon, and more there on the website, as well as down in the description below through our link tree. Thank you to my patrons, tippers, and subscribers. It is your support that keeps this channel alive. I really cannot do this without all of you guys coming by, hanging out, supporting however it is you do, whether that is financially or just with your time. Consider becoming a patron over at patreon.com/zgfgaming. It's one of the best ways to support the channel, though you can also do so by simply sharing the stream around. As well as coming by and hanging out, you can bring in your friends, you can grab some merch over at zgfgaming.store, or you can subscribe to our YouTube. But for now, thank you all so much for joining, and I bid you all the most fondest adieu.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye. Later, everyone.
Bye.